Well, welcome back, folks, to the Lighthead Online Video Show. This episode of the show, and every episode of the show in 2020, is sponsored by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com. Greg, that's KeystoneTech.com.
Hey, they have some new fixtures coming out, color selectable, outdoor fixtures. They're getting wild out there, just like you and your hair and your glasses. So be ready for them.
Yeah. Well, just for the listenership out there, sometimes, it gets a little bright in the studio, and I just need to keep the glare out. What's going on, Greggy?
Well, there's a lot going on with this UV lighting. I've heard a lot about it. I've done a fair amount of research myself, and we have together as well. We've done a number of podcasts on it, and trying to figure out the angle and what makes sense there. And, I kind of laid out what I would recommend as a lighting distributor or an electrical distributor if you're going to get into UVC lighting, or UV lighting, I should say. So first of all, I think if you're gauge whether you want to do it or not. Okay. That's number one. You say, all right, I'm interested in it. As a distributor, you should probably be interested in at least hearing it out or looking into it. So I think that's first thing. Some people might say, I'm not interested at all and stay out of it. Fine. Then don't listen to the rest of the show. And then the first thing, though,
or listen, because I have some serious thoughts on this. But please carry on, Greg.
Okay, there you go. Well, first of all, you want to understand the difference between, and until we did the podcast a couple months ago, I didn't really know the difference, or there was a difference between UVC, UVB, and UVA lighting. We're not necessarily going to get into that right now, but that's something that you can listen to some of our podcasts, or there's a lot of experts out there, a lot of articles that are written about it. But basically, if you're going to do UV lighting, UVC is the best. UVC is the one that kills the viruses and the germs and everything. UVA just kills germs, I believe, or bacteria. So again, not going to get into the science of it, but understand that so you have a good feel for it and you're able to talk about it to some degree. Number two is you want to take the time to filter out the junk that's in the marketplace. Because of this, there's a lot of people who are trying to take advantage of the opportunity, coming out with product that isn't going to do what it says it's going to do. And you need to take the time as a distributor to say, okay, is this company legit? Do I trust what they're saying? Hear them out, get a proposal from them, have them demo it, do everything that they can, ask them where they've installed it, get case studies of it, understand if you believe that. So filter out the junk, right? So get rid of the junk, understand a few of the differences. Next thing I have is to understand the cost. These are expensive. Not hundreds of dollars. Most of them are thousands and high thousands. So you need to understand the cost before you're going to start talking to people about it. Because, you could bring all this excitement. You could, I think some people are probably even out there scaring people into it, saying you're going to need to do this. But have an understanding of the cost so that you're ready to talk about it. I know. That's kind of where I'm at too. So understand the cost. All right. Then once you understand the cost, you need to understand the operation and the logistics behind it. Now, there are fixtures that you can put in the ceiling that stay in place. So they are always there and they never move. And then there are portable fixtures, which are very popular, as I'm finding out, is what a lot of people do, is a portable fixture. And now think about that. It's portable and it needs to have timing to it. So it runs for a 30-minute cycle. And you have 100 rooms or 100 areas you want to cover. So every 30 minutes, if you want to do this, you'll probably get a couple if you have 100, but every 30 minutes you need to move it. You need someone to move it, a person. So there might be, instead of, if you didn't have this in the past, now someone's full-time job might be moving UV lighting for you. So understand that. Yeah, if you're going to talk about this, if you're going to try to sell it, know that. So you can tell the customer, okay, you're really going to have to, there's some logistics behind it. And then think about the customers with the most practical applications. So everybody deals with different types of customers, but the ones that are, you're seeing actual case studies, actual results in is operating rooms. Makes sense there. Hospitals, physician and dental offices. I think hotels are starting to get into it. Some mass transit. We've seen some information about some subways in New York that are doing it. I think it's New York is where I saw it. Elderly care facilities, food service, potential of schools. Really almost anywhere could potentially use this, depending on how important it is to be virus free, or I know that's important, but to have that marketing piece out there and that understanding that they will have that. And then my last thing, and I know you're excited to dive into this, Mike, but I just want to finalize it. is if somebody is interested after you've done all this, after you know all this, after you've explained some of this, lean heavily on the manufacturer. Do not take this on yourself and think you know what you're doing all of a sudden. The manufacturer is the one that makes it. You sell it. Do not act like you make it and know that you can handle it all, because you don't know the ins and outs of how they make it and how it operates, and you're not going to necessarily be the one that has to answer for it if it doesn't work. I mean, you are to some degree if you sell it, but the manufacturer needs to be a partner, a strong partner. It needs to help you sell it. So, have I sold any UV lighting? No. But if I do, that's what I'm doing. What do you got, Mike?
So distributors should sell replacement UV light bulbs, ballasts, maybe fixtures, for sure. I sold them for years, and I'll continue to sell them. But just so for the listeners out there, let's get a few things straight. Number one, you know the ozone layer? You ever heard that word before? Hey, the ozone layer has a hole in it. That's a problem. The reason why that is a problem is because it lets in the UVC light from the sun. And so if the ozone layer doesn't filter out the UVC light from the sun, all the life on Earth will die. So let's just be clear about that. Okay? All the life on Earth will die from UVC light. Okay, the next point. Human beings are not simply an animal unto itself. We are super organisms. And what that means is that your body is literally built. Some of the building blocks of your body are bacteria and viruses, billions of them. Okay? And these viruses digest your food. They live on your skin. They do all sorts of, I'm not a scientist, but I know what I just said is true 100%. And so you're made of viruses and bacteria. You're literally made of it. Okay? It does all manner of wonderful things for you. Okay? Number 3, the reason why people wear sunscreen and sunglasses is to protect them from UV rays from the sun. So anybody that's ever told you that you should wear sunscreen, it's because you want to protect yourself from the UV light, which damages humans. Okay? Number 4, everybody knows that tanning salons are not really that healthy for you. You know what happens if you tan in a tanning salon too much? You can get skin cancer. You know why? Because it's UV light that's shining on you in very high doses. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean there's no applications for UVC light in the interior environment? No, that's not what it means. Certainly, surgical rooms are very interesting. You have a very highly controlled environment. It's an area where only experts ever go. Very, very well-trained, highly trained experts. Okay? That's where they go, and they do something extremely serious. They cut open someone else's body, and they do something, and then they sew it back together again. You don't want viruses and bacteria, outside viruses. It's very, very important. So these rooms, surgical rooms, can afford to have extraordinarily expensive lighting systems. Fixtures that cost $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 each, and have unbelievably, what's the word I'm looking for here? Unbelievably well-commissioned and controlled sensors on them that will work 100%. So the UV light only comes on when the room isn't occupied. For sure. There's all kind of procedures. Okay? Why can they afford this? Well, if somebody gets a really bad sickness while they're on the surgical table, it will cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in lawsuits. So they can afford to spend $100,000 on 1,200 square feet in lighting Okay? Makes sense. There are other areas like that. I don't know, pharmaceutical companies maybe, or different areas where, hey, we want to use this very dangerous thing for humans in a certain application in order to accomplish a goal. Kindergartens? Have you lost your mind? Literally, have you lost your mind? Okay? I have personally commissioned thousands of lighting control systems. Personally commissioned them. And yeah, it's great when they work 99% of the time. That's great. That's amazing. So if I commission the host of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, woo! If he commissions a lighting system and it works 99% of the time, I'm amazingly happy. That's fantastic. But guess what, man? Even the best commissioned lighting control systems, not for the operating room where they got hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend. I'm talking about areas where people don't want, can't ever, never will be able to afford that level of attention to detail. Nor do we have the human resources, the training people need, okay, to be able to deploy this dangerous and nasty technology. We don't have the training. Nobody knows what they're doing. And you know how I know that? Because I have talked to all the experts in the world. Go to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, getagriponlighting.com. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So, like, what are we doing? Have you lost your mind? Really? You're going to put UVC lights in a school? What? That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. And if this is clearly, this could only be fueled by total irrational panic and fear. Advertisements, people emailing me, we have these great UVC lights, kills bacteria. Yeah, kills humans too, buddy. Folks, this has been the Lighthead Online Video Show. Go to Keystone Technologies. That's KEYSTONETECH.com.